You don't want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ the Tar Heel, and in this huddle, we get to talk about a little family reunion with Little Bro. That's right, North Carolina takes on NC State in Raleigh, January 10th at 8 p.m. on ESPN. And it's always a little bit tricky this time of year because that's UNC, we're successful. You know, you have a little family reunion, we're successful, well respected in the community, just flat out better looking, if you will. And then you got to come and you got to hang out with Little Bro, Wolfie. He's still living in mom's basement, kind of at a dead-end job, no end in sight, if you will. Just spinning his stinking wheels. And he couldn't get a lady to look at him, even if he paid him cash. That's kind of how I look at UNC and NC State. All you can do is take him under your wing, rub his little noggin and say, "It's okay, champ. It's okay." Knowing full well that it'll never be okay. Because the champ right here, little guy, he'll never be you. And you know what? It is what it is, man. It stinking is what it is. Now, before we get into this, I think that this is an interesting conversation in and of itself. Because I recently watched an interview with Tyler Hansbrough. And he was asked the question, who do you hate more, Duke or NC State? And Hansbrough almost said without a stinking pause, NC State. And the reason was because Duke, as much as I despise them, you kind of have to at least respect what that program has done. State, on the other hand, they're always stinking running their trap. Always running their trap. As if they belong in the same category as Carolina and or Duke. And we all know that that's not true. So it's ridiculous, and it makes you just despise them that much more. And I understand why Tyler Hansbrough said what he said. I can't stand NC State. I really legitimately cannot stand them. It is a hatred that I love. I love to hate NC State. I really do. So, had to get that off my chest a little bit. You tell me what you think down in the comment section, Carolina fans, what you think about NC State. I already know that the State fans despise us. Whenever you envy somebody, that can be sometimes the reason why you hate that person or that thing. Carolina has no reason to envy NC State. It's very much on the opposite spectrum, if you will. So anyway, North Carolina, fake, and the team we love to hate are all knotted up at the top of the ACC at 3-0. So you see how huge this game actually is. Miami, FSU, and Puke are in second place at 2-1. UVA's at 2-2. BC, Clemson, Syracuse, Virginia Tech, and Georgia Tech are at 1-2. Pitt and Notre Dame are at 1-3. And Louisville holds up the rear at 0-3 in the conference. And that's obviously the ACC rankings as of January 8th. So let me drop a little knowledge on you real quick, Tar Heel Nation. And for all the Wolfies in here themselves, according to Wikipedia, Carolina is 162-80 all-time against the little guy. The 162 wins are tied for the most by UNC against an opponent with Wake Forest. We've beaten up on NC State more than anyone else in the entire country. Carolina is 36-5 in the last 41 games and 53-12 over the last 31 seasons. The Tar Heels are 61-47 on the road versus the little guy as well. Dominant. I mean, could you say that if it wasn't for the name on the front of their jerseys, that it's a rivalry? More like big brother asking little brother to come outside in the front yard and guard him so that he can get some practice before his senior year. That's really what it's thinking feels like, man. Hey, bro, look, I need you to come out here real quick and guard me so I can get a couple of jumpers in. I know that you're not going to be able to block my shot. I know you're not going to be able to keep me out of the paint. I understand that, but I just need a body to be in front of me so I can get some work in. That's the Carolina-NC State matchup as a whole. But let's go ahead and get into the first 2024 matchup between the Hills and the little fella. The North Carolina Tar Heels are averaging 83.6 points per game and giving up 70.8 points per game. Little bro, he's averaging 77.7 points per game and giving up 68.1 points per game himself. NC State and UNC have two common opponents in Charleston Southern and Tennessee. NC State beat Charleston Southern 87-53, while North Carolina beat Charleston Southern 105-60, and NC State lost to Tennessee 79-70, while North Carolina beat Tennessee 100-92. Now, the NC State Wolfpack are led by head coach Kevin Keatts, who is entering his 7th year at NC State. Keatts has an overall record of 113-79, good for a .589 winning percentage. State's leading scorer is 6'1", 175-pound senior guard DJ Horn, who was averaging 14.4 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, and 2.6 assists. He's shooting 42.6% from the floor and 42.9% from three. State has 6'3", 200-pound senior guard Casey Morcell, who was averaging 11.4 points per game, 2.9 rebounds, and 1.9 assists. He's shooting 42.4% from the floor and 32.2% from three. Then there's 6'4", 195-pound junior guard Jaden Taylor, who was averaging 13.1 points per game, 3.7 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. He's shooting 40.4% from the floor and 35.9% from three. 6'6", 205-pound freshman guard Dennis Parker Jr. is averaging 7.3 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, and 0.6 assists. He's shooting 50% from the floor and 35.7% from three. And then there's NC State's big man. And when I say big man, I mean big man. 6'9", 275-pound senior forward DJ Burns Jr., who is averaging 12.6 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, and 2.8 assists. He's shooting 53% from the floor and only 58.6% from the charity stripe. State usually goes about 9 deep, so we'll also see 6'10", 215-pound forward Muhammad Diarra, 6'10", 240-pound junior forward Ben Middlebrooks, 6'5", 215-pound sophomore guard MJ Rice, and 6'2", 195-pound senior guard Michael O'Connell. And now that we've taken a look at the guys on the dark side, let's look at them heroes from Chapel Hill. The North Carolina Tar Heels are led by head coach Hubert Davis, who was in the middle of his 3rd year at his alma mater. Coach Davis has amassed a 60-26 record, good for a .698 winning percentage at the University of North Carolina. UNC's leading scorer is 6'1", 180-pound senior guard RJ Davis, who was averaging 20.6 points per game, good for 15th in the entire country. 3.4 rebounds, 3.6 assists. RJ is shooting 43.4% from the floor and 39.6% from three. Interestingly enough, RJ is shooting 45.9% from three on the road, almost 5 points higher. He's also shooting a staggering 95.1% from the charity stripe. The Heels starting point guard is 6'1", 180-pound freshman guard Elliot Cadeau, who was averaging 6.8 points per game, 1.6 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and shooting 45.2% from the floor. He's now shooting 25% from three and 59.5% from the free throw line. Then we have 6'5", 195-pound senior guard Cormac Ryan, who's averaging 11 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. He's shooting 38.7% from the floor and 26.9% from three. He's also shooting 88.9% from the free throw line. 6'7", 235-pound junior forward Harrison Ingram is averaging 13.1 points per game, 6.8 rebounds, 2.6 assists. He's shooting 43.2% from the field and 42.6% from three. And then the 6'11", 240-pound preseason All-American senior forward Armando God, that's such an easy name to make it sound cool, dude. Who is averaging 14.9 points per game, 11.1 rebounds, good for fifth in the country, and 1.4 assists. He's shooting 52.9% from the floor and 78.5% from the free throw line. Also, keep an eye out, obviously, for Jalen Withers, Seth Trimble, Jalen Washington, and Zayden High, if he can stay out of foul trouble, to contribute in this basketball game. So now that we've taken a look at these two teams' rosters, let's get into Russ's 3 keys to victory. Key number 1, guard the ball. NC State loves to dribble drive, get inside, and kick it out to guys hanging out on the wings for open looks. Obviously, Carolina's defensive guard play has left a lot to be desired. So RJ and Elliott are going to have to do a really good job of keeping the Wolfies from getting into the middle of the lane and causing our wings to collapse down, allowing those kickouts. That's one of State's go-tos, and if Carolina wants to get out of Raleigh with a W, they have got to limit State's open looks. Key number 2, make Burns' legs burn. Carolina needs to have the 6', 275-pound NC State forward running the floor often. He's a big man. Let Mondo work on him down low on the blocks and make him run up and down the floor. Burns is a big fella, and the more often he's gasping for air on the sidelines, the better off the Heels are going to be. Make that kid's legs burn. And key number 3, just have fun. You say, that's pretty simple. It's as simple as that. You have dominated this program over the entire history of your program. You're playing little brother in the backyard. Carolina is the more talented basketball team with the higher ceiling, and it's been that way for what seems like millennia. Let their adorable fans jump up and down for a little bit, slosh in their cherry Pepsis all over their Adidas NC State jerseys that they got from Wally World before you show them who their daddy is. I always love this game despite the annual dominance. Roy hated State. Hansborough hated State. Russ the Tar Heel hates State. I think you guys stinking know that by now. Which will bring us to Russ's score prediction. The ESPN matchup indicator gives the North Carolina Tar Heels a 63.6% chance of beating the little guy in Raleigh. I think this is going to be a really tough basketball game that could potentially be a classic. Possibly even Mondo versus Burns at the end of the game, going back and forth. The Heels are too tough right now. They beat Pitt on the road. They beat Clemson on the road. They beat NC State on the road. I'm taking the Heels in a barn burner. And by barn burner, I mean a close, physical game. North Carolina 78, NC State 75, and a great finish to this 3-game away set. Mondo has a double-double. RJ hovers back around 20 points. Elliott has 5+ assists. And the Heels get out of Raleigh with the dub. This is an important game, Tar Heel Nation. This is an important game. Make no mistake about it, okay? NC State is a rivalry. It is a rivalry, and people care about this stinking game. Yes, we have dominated them, but it's about the name on the chest. That's what it is. And those guys think that they're on the same level as us, and we all know that they're not, and we need to keep little bro down there. Last year, they beat us in Raleigh. That's like little brother coming out to the backyard and he bangs 1-3 and he starts talking crap. That's what we're dealing with right now. So what do? You come back out there and you start hooping and you put him back in his place, letting him know, hey, I gave you some space to knock that one down. Don't get too high on yourself, buddy. All right? That's what Carolina needs to do. That's what I see them doing in Raleigh. So let me know what you think about my score prediction, Tar Heel Nation. Can Carolina go to Raleigh and handle business? Or do you see little bro punching up? And I'm saying that if NC State beats Carolina, they punched up. They're always punching up, okay? Because we're at the top of the mountain, and that's where they, for whatever reason, think that they can go. Not happening. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, because you know that Wolfie Nation is coming in strong in this one, and they're going to be thumbs down the crap out of this video because most of them hate Carolina, and they're learning to hate me. And I like it. I'm not going to lie. So consider supporting the channel today by becoming a member of the Huddle Hooligans as we continue to push towards 1,000 subscribers, making this the place for Tar Heel Nation to gather and talk UNC sports in an unfiltered environment. I love hanging with the fam during the live streams. Now, I am going to be a couple minutes late for the NC State game because work is overlapping, unfortunately, the opening tip. So we're going to try to get in there. Game starts at 8 p.m. We're going to try to get in there about 8:15, 8:20. So y'all make sure that, I won't be there for the opening tip, man, but I'll be right down the street, coming in hot. We'll get everything set up, and then we'll watch the Heels invade stinking Raleigh and handle business, man. So y'all make sure you come and hang out in the live reaction and watch party. I'm looking forward to it as always. And if you can, do me a favor. I just started the TikTok. Go to TikTok if you even have TikTok, and go ahead and follow me real quick at Russ the Tar Heel, man, on TikTok. So that's kind of a new thing over there as well. Make sure you come out and hang out during the watch party and the live stream, man. I love you, Tar Heel Nation. I'm excited about this one, baby. Carolina, NC State, in Raleigh. What's better than going into a hostile environment, especially an environment like that, and shutting people's mouths? I can't think of anything better in sports. Anyway, looking forward to it, baby. We'll catch you on the next one, Tar Heel Nation.